What is going on, everybody? What is up with this? There we go. Yes. What's going on, people? Welcome to the Ghost of Highbury show. I'm your host, Anton Keith. If this is your first time joining me, welcome. Please do me a favor and join the Ghost. Trying to build a community of like-minded Arsenal fans, and yeah, that's what I want to do. That's it. Talk about all things Arsenal. We can touch on some other things going on around the world of Premier League soccer and worldwide soccer, but I want to really keep it here with Arsenal. So it's been a pleasure. Well, I'm only 2 episodes in, and I'm having a great time. So um, really excited about it, and let's just jump into it. So Um, it's early here over in America. It's almost 11 o'clock, but of course, over across the pond, things have been been going off since about 3 o'clock this morning. Things happen so crazy. So when we wake up over here, we're just like, what has been going on? And then if you're here in the U.S., then you can kind of relate. So I only want to talk about a few things. I don't think we're gonna go as long as we did yesterday. But let's talk about a few things. So the first thing, let me share my screen here so you guys can take a look at what I am looking at. Let's see. So take a look at this. So I'm sure you guys have seen this. It's from AFC Bell. If you don't follow AFC Bell, and you don't know who this is, or why why he's even on my screen, let me just give you like a little bit of backstory. So AFC Belt last year was the main sort of in the know, main source of the whole Thomas Partey coming to Arsenal thing. And so even when it didn't look like we were going to get him, even when it was like Atletico didn't want to deal with us, they were not interested at all in losing, one of their star midfielders, this, that, and the third. This account was consistently saying, believe us, believe us, believe us, trust me, no matter what you hear coming out of, either Arsenal's camp or Atletico's camp, we are going to get this guy. And so, there was kind of a growing movement of people who were like, all right, we're going to stick with them. And then, of course, the rest is history. We know on deadline day, we put the 50 million down and took their guy off of them. And we kind of left a bad taste with Atletico. So when I'm seeing the things today about and yesterday about us doing like a Bellerin, Kieran Trippier swap, I'm thinking like, wow, do we, have we mended those fences within less than a year? Or are those things just rumors? I don't know. But anywho, so since then, this count has garnered like a massive, massive following because they were the only ones that were right. Even some of the big time journalists over in the UK, bigged him up. They had no choice because he was the only one that was right. And so since then, this summer, he's been, or they've been, I don't know if it's one person or team or however it goes, but they have been saying, that, we're going to go in for James Madison. Well, I think before there was some rumblings around talking about James Madison from Leicester and us possibly getting him, but the way Leicester are a really well run organization, and so they sell high and they buy cheap. And you can see it now. They bought Sumari from the French league, up and coming guy, has looked decent so far in preseason and in their game. And that's what they do. So they're in prime position. They don't have to sell him, and he probably wants to go, for a bigger profile to grow his brand, all those different things. But they are in no way, shape, form, or fashion in a position where they feel like they have to sell, so they can kind of name their price. So in this particular instance, this is kind of a seller's market, right? Like if you're buying a house, this is what I want to sell my house for. If you don't want it, then fair enough. But if you do, here's the price. So they put between, depending upon who or where you get your information from, somewhere between 60 and 70 million dollars or pounds. It's probably more like 80 or 90, between, I would say 80, 75 to 85, close to 90 million US dollars. And so, we've been kind of flirting around. We don't know if we're gonna go back in for Martin Erdegaard or what we're gonna do. I saw the other day that he, lost his squad number just like Coutinho did. And so I was a little bit worried about the Coutinho thing because both of them lost their squad numbers. So it's like, oh, I really don't want to go down that road. We made some good signings so far, some good young people that if we can groom them correctly, we can start to get to the point where we actually have sellable assets. I'm not saying that we need to sell them, but if they're determined to go and they want to grow their profile on from Arsenal or something like that, we can actually make money, i.e. James Madison in Leicester. So this came out this morning. Basically, it's talking about how they're gonna like turn up. They're gonna ramp up their efforts to sign him. They've already sold Joe Willock. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna get some outs to get some more money in, and that the player, if they come in, he would want to go. Now, I'm interested to see what they're gonna do. I'm interested to see how they're going to, how they're going to play this. Is this like some deadline day deal? Because then, I don't expect. I mean, I guess he's in the Premier League. He's playing, so he should be ready to go day one. So I'm a little bit less concerned about like his fitness. Has he been training? This and that. It wouldn't be like the Thomas Partey thing because Partey, I don't think he played prior to playing over here. So we had that gap where, for some reason, and it seems like I don't follow enough clubs to know this, but it seems like everybody we bring in, they're never ready to play. Something's always going on, or it's like our management is like, oh, well, we got to bet him in first. No, he's playing football. He's not, he doesn't need all this time to get ready. All right. Show him a playing style. He knows the position. Let's go. But we always do this thing where it's like, oh, he needs a few weeks to settle in and this and that. You know what I mean? You see Lukaku. Lukaku said he's ready to go. Week 2, ready to get. He came in the day before we played. He's ready to go. Now watch us get one of these guys and they say, oh, well, he's not ready. We need a couple weeks to, no, get them out there, get them acclimated, and let's rock and roll. We got a season to save. Seriously, we have a season to save. We have to get back in Europe unless some of the top end people, yes, we talked about bringing in some young talent, right, to groom and grow. But we also have to supplement that with dudes that are ready to rock and roll out the gate. And those people want to play in Europe. Those people want to grow their profile. Those people want to expand on the big profile that they have. Playing in the Premier League, playing in like the FA Cup, that's not doing anything for them. Well, being in London, yes. Okay. But they need European football to show everybody else around here that they are it. They are one of the top players in football. So they can show, they can get more deals with other companies and this and that, bigger shoe deal, bigger soda deal or beer deal or bigger car deal or whatever else they, they want to do. They can't do that if we're not in European football and we don't look as attractive. Can we still get players in? Yeah, because we pay bigger wages than anybody, except maybe like 2 or 3 other clubs in the world. We're willing to spend money on wages that other people won't. So if you're on 70, 80 grand a week and we come in and say we'll pay you 120, 140, 150 a week, we're doubling your salary. Now all of a sudden, wow, I get to live in London, have a good time, making 150 a week. That doesn't sound bad. Let's think about doing that. But it's not for the right reasons. You're not getting the best out of them. They're not coming because The club is on the way up, or we're doing big things. They're coming for money. And so, how do you expect a person to come in if he's only coming because you doubled his wage? That's it. How do you expect that person to come in and want to fight for their place, want to become a leader, if it's all about money? It makes no sense. So, until we get to the point where we can build this squad up to stay in Europe, where we did basically since we've been in the Premier League, how we have to return to the point where we are relevant once again. Because right now, 2 seasons, eighth, and the way the first game looked, we're gonna be there again, if not lower. So we need to. They need, if this is true, and we are gonna step up. Right? I'm not gonna join this crowd of why haven't they paid it already? Well, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm part of the board meetings or discussions and stuff like that. Maybe they had a plan. I don't know. But if this is what they're gonna do, it's 0 hour now. I don't want to hear anything about, well, we have until last night. Just pay the money. Pay the money. And then now, if money's an issue, right? Get him in and get these other players out and drum up the money. It doesn't matter if it's 5, 10, 15 million. I don't care if it's a loan and you just have them paying their wages. Get them out. Because if we get back in Europe, our profile grows, more money will come in. And that solves your problem right there. You need players. Some of these young players that we've gotten in so far, they're not getting us into Europe. So that's why you see this discussion about people saying, well, we spent close to $100 million, but we haven't improved the squad. That's why. You get this dude in, he will improve the squad. It'll be a different problem if we lose Aubameyang and Lacazette. But we'll touch on that in a minute. But anyway, so he is he's been pretty reliable, or they have been pretty reliable. I don't know if it's a group or a singular individual, but yeah, they've been pretty reliable. And then he also just talks about how they are kind of doing a dual thing where they're discussing, they're having conversations with Real Madrid for Martin Odegaard, just in case this falls through. And so I'm not going to sit up here and say, try to pretend what they're, know what they're doing. I hope that's the case. I would, me personally, I would like to see them get two midfielders, two attacking style midfielders, or we need a box to box. We need somebody who can potentially, we have Sambi, but we need another Sambi, if that makes sense. We need another person who can come in. But Sambi, and he'll grow, he'll develop. But we need another person because I don't want Granit Xhaka starting week in, week out. Whether he's on a team or not, I'm not going to worry about that. But starting, that's what we know. I don't care about his contract. I don't care about how much he's making per week. I don't care about any of that. I'm talking about starting. Okay? We need players who can leapfrog him, leapfrog El Nini, and potentially leapfrog Partey. Coming on the way up, nip it at your heels, saying, yo, if you don't step up in practice, this young dude ready to rock and roll. We need players like that. Sambi has already shown. We saw in preseason game 1, he was ready to rock and roll. So he's already shown you, I'm better than El Nini from the jump. So that tells you right now, El Nini, you need to be on the phone to your agent saying, you know what, young buck came and displaced me. Go, agent, go find me a place where I can start, because that's what I want to do in my career at this point. I should be starting. Fair enough. Go find yourself a deal. It's been great. No abuse, none of that stuff. Hey, it's been real. I see you. I see you when we play in the Europa Champions League if you're on the team. Rotate these guys out. Get them out. Okay? Our center backs, our right backs. We got all these center backs, all these right backs. None of them are starting worthy. Whether you want to keep them on the team, I know I've heard some of like the homegrown quota things, and if we get another guy, we have to, that's why they're trying to get Ramsdale, which we'll touch on towards the end. And we need more homegrown guys and this and that. So we need to figure out um we need to figure out what we want to do. But we need to get some of these guys out, and hopefully over the course of the next 2 weeks, some of these guys will kind of see the writing on the wall. It doesn't it make you feel a certain type of way that a lot of these guys know they're not starting, know they're not good enough, but because of money, they're not leaving? Would these guys have this attitude about not trying to find a new deal, not trying to find a place where they could start if they were on, say, 50 grand a week, something like that? I mean, I don't want to poop on anybody who makes 50 grand a week, but I'm just saying in terms of like the EPL, 50 grand a week is not a whole lot of money. I mean, that's basically like you getting your second deal, and you came up as an academy grad or something like that. That's probably like not your big money deal, but maybe your second after your initial rookie contract. If somebody offers you 50 grand, and you're only making that, and you're like, oh man, I'm on the bench, I'm only making 50 grand. I might, if somebody might offer me 55, 60, and they start, but it might be in Turkey or Italy or France or something like that. I might go do that. But when you're on 100 grand a week, and if you go to France, Italy, Turkey, Germany, somewhere like that, and it's only going to be 80, 70, 60, 50. And you're like, well, right? It's going to be a money decision both ways. So when we make when we develop these contracts, but that's the thing about European football, because if you don't have it, then you got to overpay these guys to want to come in. But then if you don't deliver, you're stuck with this high priced player who's not helping you get there. So it's an interesting vibe. Very, very, very interesting vibe. Hope you get your coffee. Hope you're enjoying the live stream. Please do me a favor, like and subscribe. And let's grow this channel. So yeah, just closing out the conversation about Bell. I think if he nails this, then I mean, he's tier one. He doesn't really, like for a while, for a big chunk of the transfer window, he wasn't really saying anything. And so people thought like, oh, because remember, after, and if you don't know this, after the deal was done, he basically closed his account and said, well, that's it for us. We hope you enjoyed it, yada yada yada, and kind of rolled out. And we didn't hear from him all season long, except when Thomas got injured. Then they talked, they came back in and said, oh, his injury is not as bad. He'll be back. And it's funny because he got injured again against Chelsea. And so hopefully it's not as bad. I've seen pictures of him, like we talked about yesterday, training, and he's okay. But we need him back. I mean, we'll, later on in the week, probably Thursday or Friday, we will touch on we'll do a preview. We'll do a preview show. We'll pick our lineup. We'll do all that stuff. But yeah, we need him back. It's crazy, but well, I guess I don't know if it's good or bad because I don't know how these next two games are going to go. But more than likely, when he gets back, it'll coincide with us getting some good players in. Hopefully, at least 2 or 3 more. Hopefully, and it'll beat the schedule. I mean, the teams will be a lot further down on the pecking order, so he can ease his way back in. Instead of coming back against Man City or something, and like remember last year when we rushed him back because we really needed him, he ended up re-injuring himself and all that type of stuff. I don't want a situation like that again. So, so yeah, hopefully he comes back soon. So, let's see. What else we want to talk about? So actually wanted to talk about Aubameyang and Lacazette because overnight it we talked a little bit about it came out that over a course of a couple podcasts and things like that that they probably have COVID. And so I saw a lot of people talking about it. I saw like I said, I saw some podcasts and things like that talking about it. And that is why when all these links started coming out about Descent and, him having problems with the manager, this and that, you know what? They could be both true. Okay. Him, Lacazette, and Runnison, I think they talked about because I'm sure you guys, if you haven't seen it, there was a report that came out late yesterday that talked about how the first game of the season when we played Brentford, it almost didn't happen because they kind of had like a COVID outbreak, and they didn't really say it was COVID because they didn't want COVID to be the headline of the beginning of the Premier League season, so they just said they were ill. So I don't know if that translates to they didn't test positive, but they didn't feel well and they had COVID like symptoms. So that kind of gave them the out to not say it was actually COVID, or they just straight up hid it from us and told the Premier League officials that it was COVID, but said it was illness to the public. I don't know if that's the case. But then immediately, you guys saw it. All of a sudden, um, all of these links come out about you going to Barcelona. He's fed up, this, that, and the third. And I don't know where all this stuff comes from, and that's I just wanted to talk about that. So I don't, I'm going to reserve my judgment because maybe they'll bring out something. They haven't posted about it at all. The thing that came out that was in the Daily Mail about the season almost not being started because of COVID, and they had to test everybody, and everybody who showed up was negative, but those guys weren't there, and that possibly being why. But I think because of um, some sort of medical release or something like that, the guys who do know what's going on weren't in a position to share that information with the public. Um, they didn't really say. So what does that mean? So what's the truth? And and you see a lot of guys on Twitter and stuff like that. They do things for clicks, and they'll start posting all these rumors and this and that. Don't listen to any of that junk, right? Somebody, an incorrect clock is right twice a day. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. Some of these guys just by happenstance, they're gonna post something and they're gonna be accurate. So, and that's why I talked a little bit about the AFC Baylor to open the stream because he's actually been true. He doesn't talk a lot about all these potential things and this and that. He talks about one or two guys. He talked about Odegaard. He talked to Odegaard and he talked about Madison. That's it. They lock into a guy and they bring in information. He doesn't ever say it's 100%, it's going to happen or anything like that. They lock into one guy and they bring you all the information that they have. A lot of these guys, every single day, they jump to a new guy. Now, if you're trying to hype a guy up to what I want to say, because I think there's a few different levels. Okay, there's these reporters who might have sources inside the clubs, right? Who sometimes stretch the information that they might get or the scuttlebutt that they might get from inside the club to make it seem like there's like some solid links. Right. Then you have what I like to call what's a good word? I would call them like transfer aggregators, right? Where they're not actually like tapped in to the sources, but they're constantly scouring the internet looking for links and solid people, and they know all the people who know all the people, and so they bombard your Twitter feed and this and that with links from other people's things. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, But I don't believe a lot of those things because and then you have people who just who just put out propaganda because they've identified a player who might help the team and they think that like, wow, this would be a player that could help us, which I don't have a problem with any of that. I only believe I would say probably 1 or 2% of all of the people who see, right? And I play FIFA, so a lot of times what I do, the most that I do is when I see them hype up a person, I go on FIFA and I put them, I sign them on Arsenal, on my club, and I play with them and see how they are. But I don't ever think for a minute they're actually going to get these people. Not at all. Not at all. Right? Because over time, they don't mind that I don't want to say their credibility or anything like that goes to the floor because it doesn't. I'm not giving you credibility for you to lose it. I'm just like, I see something like, oh, okay, that would be cool. Oh, let me look up that guy, or let me do a YouTube scout on that guy. That would be cool. And so, yeah, I mean, I would say take what all these guys would say with a grain of salt. But some of these guys are all over the place, and then we end up as Arsenal fans getting frustrated because none of the things happen, and we think that it's some sort of failure on behalf of the club, when in reality we were never in for that person. Some of them, like Buendia. Okay, now that was a person that we actually put in for, but we don't know how high he was on the pecking order. We gave up really quick. Are you trying to say we couldn't compete with Aston Villa? Okay, they knew they had Grealish money out the door because now we know that actually it wasn't like a negotiating for a deal. We know now that it was a release clause of 100 million. We know that because the president of the club came out and said it that last year when he negotiated a new deal, he said, "I want to go if a Champions League club comes in for me and they're willing to, take me on, then let me go." And they said, "Okay, well if that happens, we're going to set a tag of 100 million." He said, "Cool." He took a little pay bump and they put the release clause on him. A team came in, so they knew. Remember, they were doing all that junk with Smith Rowe, putting in cheeky offers and all that type of stuff. That was because they knew they had that $100 million. And to be fair to them, they made some good investments. They got Buendia, they got Bailey, and they got another player too. I can't think, his name escapes me right now. But yeah, and they look good. You see, Bailey came right in, was doing work, put in a good cross for an assist. I mean, look good, look good. And so, yeah, that's good business by them. They sold their most sellable asset. I would say, who do you think our most sellable asset is right now? It's got to be Saka, right? So if somebody came in, let's just assume Saka is going to keep going up, right? And somebody came in and said, "Yo, Real Madrid, I don't know, they ain't got no money right now, but normally it would be somebody like Real Madrid or PSG or something like that." Let's just say they lost Di Maria for some reason, all right? And they said, "Look, yo, 100 mil, 100 mil for Saka." Right? And he wants to go. That's a situation where we could say, all right, well, 100 mil, and he wants to play, and we're not in the Champions League, and they're constantly getting to the semifinals, finals, this and that, and he wants some of that, and he can see down the road that the way we're getting managed, we can be there for a long time, and he goes over. That's 100 million. Then you'll see us putting in offers if we're smart about it. If we ever develop some sort of management system that actually works. But that's the way things are. I'm not going to go on a rant about management styles and stuff again. We did that yesterday. And so yeah, so the third thing, so we were talking about Aubameyang. Yeah, okay. Um so I don't think he's leaving. I don't. Lacazette, Alba's on 300 grand. If he goes somewhere else, like, so you saw the rumors about going to Barcelona, and then so if I looked into that, I looked into some of the articles that were coming out, and they were talking about reducing how much he makes, about putting them on like 200K a week. So you're gonna reduce how much you make by $150,000 a week. That's not smart business sense. He missed that window. And I could see him being pissed and saying, "Yo, Y'all had me sign this extension. You gave me this pay rise. But look at the business you guys are doing. Yeah, you're spending money, but you're spending money on who? Bring somebody in that can put me so can give me some through balls so I can score. Because now you got the public thinking that I'm a has been. Now you got the public thinking that I'm Mesut Ozil, right? He has to take some of the responsibility for that. But if you're watching the games, if I know, like it's fashionable to oh, he's past it, and you want to be on the cutting edge of that. You want to be on the tip of the trident saying that. But if you're watching the games, seriously watching the games, and you're trying to analyze, like, okay, what's going on with this guy? You can see he gets like one or two chances a game, right? When he came in, Ozil putting them in, Mkhitaryan putting them in, chance after chance after chance, he's burying them. Dude won the Golden Boot, and then came in second the next year. All of a sudden, he's done? Nah, come on. Come on, man. Come on, guys. Be smarter than that. Be smarter. Be smarter than that. He doesn't get any chances. So he might say, look, yo, okay, you brought in Tavares. Okay, you brought in Ben White. Okay, you brought in Sambi. Are any of those guys going to be providing me some dropping dimes for me? I don't think so. I need y'all to bring in some players that can feed me. Right? And they haven't done that yet. So hopefully they get Madison, because Madison can feed them. Or they fall back and they get Odegaard. He can feed them, because Odegaard did feed him. He did a little bit. But again, what's different with Odegaard is, let's just say we wait to deadline day and we do get Odegaard. Odegaard doesn't even have a squad number right now. So he's not even playing. Season started last week. Okay. Their season started this first day in the same day as EPL. Right? He doesn't even have a squad number. They took it. So he's chilling. So he's not even playing right now. Madison is. So in Madison, if Madison does come, he's ready to rock and roll. They're going to do that thing where he doesn't play for 3 weeks with Odegaard, because he hasn't been, hopefully he's been training, but somehow, some way he won't be ready for to play here for some reason. I don't know why. So get the players in that can help Aubameyang return to glory. Now, Laca, on the other hand, is only on the year. And remember, they made that statement: we're not going to allow anybody to run down their contracts anymore, right? So let's see something. If they want to do a trade with Laca and bring somebody else in, then we can do that. But it has to be the right person. If y'all gonna have to sell somebody young, and so here's I talked a little bit about in the intro that young kid, that Pogba region. I can't think of his name. I looked him up yesterday, and let me just pull him up here so I can, because I was struggling to say his name, and so his name is, and of course I can't find it. Yes, but he's a midfielder for Barcelona. He's on a Barcelona B team, and there's some rumors that came out that he doesn't want to re-sign a contract and this and that. And so I went and watched one of the comps. You know what we all do? We go watch a comp on a player, and he looks like a Pogba region, right? Looks good, right? Looks really good. And so, I was thinking, like, okay, so you get rid of what's lock on, like 150. So if you get rid of 150. Okay. Bring somebody young in, sign him to a deal, not too much. Don't put this young kid, he's only like 18, 19, 20 years old, on 100 grand. Don't do that. And then have him, so that's two young, strong, progressive midfielders that can do their thing. And so that would be, again, but the issue is it has to be on the basis of bringing someone in that could help Aubameyang. I even saw something about trading Dembele for Lacazette. Now, my only issue with that is I would never turn Dembele away. He is a baller. He's injury prone. And he's a baller. But my thing is, okay, what would that do to Saka, Smith Rowe, and Pepe to a larger degree? Because he plays in Pepe's spot, and sometimes when Pepe's not going, I mean, unless we're gonna get rid of William, but I mean, but that's a very, very, very large salary for a person who has shown since Barcelona. In Dortmund, he balled and played a lot. But in Barcelona, he's been hurt a lot in a league where it's not really as physical as the Premier League. You see Pepe gets hacked down every game. And him and Dembele kind of have the same sort of a playing style. Give me a second. Let me just make sure that nobody comes down here and interrupts us. And so, yeah, so I don't really know how I feel about that. Um, so I don't know, but I would take that young midfielder. I would take that young midfielder, and I would run with him for Lacazette and play Alba down the middle. Bring in some players that can feed him. Either play Smith Rowe or Saka on the left, play Pepe on the right, and cook. Straight up. Okay, we have Aubameyang for 2 years. So next year, if you want to bring in a striker that's going to eventually supplant him, I don't think Martinelli's ready. I don't think Balogun is ready. So I'm not worried about that. Stand by 1 second. So sorry about that. My dog is tripping. I'm sure you guys know. Yeah, so my dog is tripping. People are coming in the house and things like that. So anywho, yeah, so I don't know what's gonna happen with that. I don't know. So hopefully that's all resolved. I personally don't think Aubameyang's going anywhere because he's on 350. And yeah. Barcelona ain't winning nothing this year. Yeah, he'll play in the Champions League in Barcelona, but they're not winning. No, no. We all know this is PSG's Champions League to lose. They might not even win La Liga. I mean, Atletico, they're ready to run it back. So him going there for what? You're gonna have to take a pay cut. They're not gonna win the league. They're not gonna win the Champions League. You're gonna win the Spanish Cup. Like the Spanish version of the FA Cup. Okay. You wanna give that up? Hey, it was real. So, anywho, that's that. Yes, we'll see. And so, really, for this one, that was about it. That's about it. I just wanted to jump in, talk about a few things. Um, really show some consistency with the stream as I try to grow it. Please do me a favor. You see up here. Well, let me do up here. You see where our Twitter address. Please like and engage me on Twitter. I'm trying to tweet a lot to trying to grow the brand, try to grow the channel and things like that. And just tell me how you generally feel about Arsenal. Let me know if this time works for you. If you need it to be earlier or if you need it to be later, let me know. We can work with that. So that's really about it. I enjoy it. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed both of the live streams. And so yeah, that's about it. I am working on guests to bring people in and to engage. You can actually even jump on here if you like, and we can chat. So do me a favor, if you are interested in doing something like that, let me know. I'm just at ghostofhighbury@gmail.com. Send me a quick email and we can link up and do something. So do me a favor, like, subscribe. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for 45 minutes. I sincerely appreciate it. And we will see you next time. Peace.